So team, I'm running a little bit late, but that's okay. I haven't had the chance to tell anyone that I'm going live. So who knows who's going to come into the kitchen, but that's all good because when we're in lockdown, kids are at home, we've just got to run with what happens. I am making a dish today that my whole family absolutely loves. I don't know, you might think that my kids eat anything. They absolutely do not. And it's actually quite rare that we find, not rare, but there's probably just a handful of dinners that I make that everybody loves. You know, somebody doesn't like this and somebody doesn't like that. So this is one that I know that everybody, you know, absolutely raves about, and I have to make lots of it because they just get devoured. So I'm making pork and cabbage spring rolls, and they are not the fresh spring rolls. I'm going to show you how to toast them in the pan. Well, not actually show you, but talk you through it. So I am using pork mince. I didn't actually have any pork mince. I had pork pieces, which I then put into my food processor and just ground it up into a mince. It's one thing that I'm really missing about lockdown is my fruit and veggie market and my meat market that I go to in Mount Albert, and it just has the most amazing meat, and he's always got amazing pork, you know, free range pork mince. So I've had to go for an alternative because I couldn't get it. So in my pan here, I've just got things already going. So I've got some pork mince, about 600 grams in my wok already cooking. I'm putting in some garlic and some ginger. Now I'm going to talk you through, I know that there were a lot of people who commented on that they wanted to find out what my gluten-free alternative to making these, because lots of people miss, when they're gluten-free, miss being able to make these spring rolls. I need to tell you something a little bit funny, something I find a little bit frustrating. Came down into the kitchen. These are my spring roll wrappers. They've got a little nibble out of the bottom corner. They've got a little nibble out of the top corner. Our cat absolutely devours anything that is left on the bench. So I took them out of the freezer to defrost, and she's dragged them onto the ground. She's been known to take chicken mince, you know, beef mince. She just takes it outside. Luckily, I found these, and I'll just be able to chop off the bottom. But it's just so frustrating. Does your cat do that? So in my pan, so I'll show you. These are the TYJ spring roll pastry. So these are not gluten free. But you can buy these from the supermarket, or I buy them from my local Asian food store. So I'm just browning off that mince, and what you want to do is just using your, I've got my wooden spoon, I'm just breaking up those clumps, okay, and so that they are not, you know, really chunky. Then I'm going to start adding things into it. So I forgot to tell you, this recipe is coming out on my newsletter tonight. If you're not a subscriber to my newsletter, head to wickedwellbeing.com/new. I will post the link below in the comments, but wickedwellbeing.com/new, and you'll get this recipe and something else that I'll tell you about shortly as well. So into my pan there, I've got some soy sauce and Worcester sauce. I love soy sauce, but I love Worcester sauce. The oil that I used for this was sesame seed oil, because I just love those Asian flavours, and they're just so divine. The great thing about this recipe is that you can put any veggies. It's very, very forgiving. I'm going to put some spring onions, and then some lime juice. I've got about 1.5 things of lime juice there. And it's a very quick recipe to throw the mixture together, but what you do need to do is you need to wait until it's cool before you make the spring rolls. I'll do one just cooked today to show you, but you do need to wait. It's more beneficial, because otherwise the pastry rolls, they go soggy. Now, this is my key ingredient. Well, one of my key ingredients. It's water chestnuts. Are you familiar with water chestnuts? They are, so I'll put this in and then I'll talk to you about them. So I've just finely chopped up those. I'll show you what they look like. And I'm adding in my grated my grated cabbage and carrot. And there's quite a bit there. I probably don't need that much. Just, but what I find I do, I'll come back to the water chestnuts. What I find I do is add, as the veggies wilter down or break down, I just add more in because it really ups the quantity. So it's great. Another little tip is if this isn't going far enough for your family and you want to make it go further, add some Vietnamese some Vietnamese noodles. You know those really thin ones? Oh, so good. The aroma is amazing. I've got some mint here. My mint in my garden is going berserk. Is yours? Tell me. Ideally, I would have coriander as well, but because I haven't got access to my fruit veggie markets, I am buying it from the shops, but they're just not. They just don't last as long, not as fresh. But hey, that's what we have to deal with. So I'm just going to let that wilter down, and that is. Can you see that? It's quite heavy. Oh, the flavours, the just so gorgeous. Now, to get back to these water chestnuts, Velcom is the brand that I use. Buy them from the supermarket, and they just add such a beautiful crunch. They come sliced, so if you can see that. I use them a lot in Asian cooking. They come in a brine, so you just drain them off. I'd love to know, do you use water chestnuts? Is that something that you have in the cupboard? It's actually something that I have in the cupboard all the time because I just love them. And then I'd finely chop them up. So that is Velcom, which is a very popular Asian brand for, I buy their red curry paste and their green curry paste. Okay. If you've just tuned in and you're wanting the recipe for these amazing spring rolls, then it's coming out on my newsletter, tonight. If you're not already on my list, then head to wickedwellbeing.com/new and register your details, and then you'll get it tonight. The other thing that I'm sending out is I've put together quick, nutritious energy snacks ebook. And it's got 5 recipes and 25 just throw together snacking ideas. And there's a reason, which I'll tell you in the newsletter, why I have put that together. But yeah, you can grab that. So wickedwellbeing.com/new. Now, if you have, I haven't actually got a lot of liquid in the bottom there. If you find, so I'm turning that off. If you find that you have got too much liquid in the bottom, then I've got some corn flour and water here, which is mixed up into a little paste, and then you can just pour it in while it's still on the element, and it'll thicken, which is amazing. Okay, so I will show you. It's not rocket science on how to roll these, but as I say, I buy these from the supermarket or my local Asian food store. They are quite sticky, so you'll see, can you see what I'm doing? You'll see that they do stick together, but the thing that I find is that they don't tear. So you can see that? So all you can either do them diagonally, so on an angle, and you might find that easier. In the instructions, they are diagonal. Today, I'm just going to do them straight. I've got a spoon here. As I say, it's better, or it works best if you wait until the mixture is cold. But obviously, I can't do that because then your wrappers won't go soggy. So today, early afternoon or like 4ish is a good time to make them. So I've just placed it at the back of, I could do a little bit more, at the back of my wrapper. And then I'm going to fold in the sides, as you do with spring rolls. Fold in the sides, and then you just roll them up. Oh, and that one's split a little bit. That's the other thing that happens if you if it's not cold, the heat makes them split. So, but you can see, and then the seal, where's my water? Here. I just run my finger along the end there to seal it, okay? And then I'll put it onto a plate, sealed side down, do all of them, and then to cook them, I'm coming up with the gluten-free option in a moment. To cook them, you just cook some oil in a pan, you know, kind of like shallow frying them, but not so much oil. I just like add oil as much as I need, and on a heavy base pan, and I just rotate them because the mixture is all cooked, and you just need to rotate it to cook the wrapper. Now, for those of you who are gluten-free, I know that you miss out. So what a genius idea is to use rice paper rolls. So I'm sure you're familiar with rice paper rolls, but these you can buy from an Asian food store. I get mine from an Asian food store. I do like the square because they're easier to roll rather than the round. It's actually quite a game changer. And I would do 2 wrappers. Okay, so I would do this like this, just with one. Make sure you put a tea towel down. It's not quite so forgiving that you can do it straight on the bench. And you need to soak them in water, but I'm not going to go into how to, you know, do the actual part with you. But just roll them and use one wrapper and then do it again. And then you can cook them in your pan. If you just use one, I find that they have a blowout. Now, the other idea is that you can cook them in the oven as well. So at 180, all the instructions will be on the recipe that comes out in my newsletter tonight. If you're not already on my list, head to wickedwellbeing.com/new, and I will also post it in the comments box below. And as I said, I'm giving out a quick, nutritious energy snacks ebook as well. So you don't want to miss my newsletter tonight. All right, I think that, no, I have a little reminder here. There's a dipping sauce that goes with it, which is made out of chili and lime juice and fish sauce. It's coming with the recipe, amazing. This is also a recipe out of my Wicked Healthy Tribe, which is my online health and wellbeing membership. I've got an annual special that I have coming on in a couple of weeks, so make sure you keep your eye out for that. And I've covered everything else off. Thank you so much for joining me. I would love to know, do you make spring rolls or will you make these? They are so, so good. Okay. Catch you later and have a great rest of your afternoon. Bye.